Or we landed on the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It was over here.
We're all meeting.
I feel like next summer's vacation.
Yeah, right. Where are we going?
Yeah.
Somewhere warm and have an ocean and sand.
No, pull up to the table.
You want to shake your hand?
Pull up.
Of course.
Oh, no, I thought I
We didn't.
No, well, you gotta be part of the discussion. I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be asking you a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Whoever.
So, how many board members we have? Like four? Four and yourself?
Yeah.
Because my son might be coming.
Well, fine.
Okay. Well, we'll make room. We'll make room.
Yeah. We'll
So he's cheers.
crunch together.
Yeah. Have a seat. No pinching.
Crunch together. We're gonna have some people here.
Oh, come on.
Ah, come on. We get friendly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I get one.
I only got enough for.
You got one?
Yeah.
Oh, you got one already?
Oh, I came early.
Oh, I just checked and they didn't
You're
have
smart.
one. Did you need one?
I
Yes,
marched
ma'am.
in.
Did you? Good for you. Good for you, good for you.
Me, Eric. Eric and who else? That's it, right?
Yeah, we're there. Yeah.
Eric's here.
You saw him? No.
The Gallegos.
Yeah.
That's like
Think
everybody
so.
last name. I feel like
I
I'm in
know.
the military.
Eric.
Gallegos.
Were you in the military?
No, my dad was, but we
Oh,
were.
my
yeah.
dad was. I'm a service brat.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Which military?
Navy?
Oh,
We were Air Force.
Okay.
yeah.
My dad
So
was a
is my
pilot.
family.
Oh, is that right?
But then my husband always called it air farce because he was in the army. So
Oh, yeah.
So I was like,
Well, my dad was in the Army Air Corps, and then when they split, he went with the Air
Oh,
Force.
that's right. That's right.
A long time ago.
That was a while ago.
He actually was a prisoner of war too.
Ooh.
Yeah, with the
Where were
Japanese too.
Where was he held prisoner?
So,
Oh, the
you know, he wouldn't tell us,
Oh,
and
yeah.
in the papers, it just
They are,
was
they were
specific.
talking
and-
Yeah. That's a big. That's a big
But I
area.
finally did get all of his records. I've got them now, so I can just like circle and stuff.
You're probably gonna put the maps out here, right?
Yeah.
Spread them out, so I'll get
This
this out of the
was
way.
good to read on my phone, but it was nicer to have it like, yeah, I can read
yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah,
kind of hard to read.
yeah, and some of it was real blurry.
You got your water there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I got two.
Okay.
There's a few. We can open them up and put them out there.
We're gonna need a mega scanner.
All right.
Yeah, we'll get a scanner eventually.
Well, you can take some downtown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kinko's. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Oh, that's just for this.
I know, I was gonna say.
He's coming.
Come on,
Yeah.
guys.
It's
Go.
just
It's always the last minute. It comes about a minute before.
He likes to make the.
The grand.
Oh,
I'm sure he matters to him.
yeah. He always does.
Yeah. I was
Thirsty.
good. A lot.
It's like a Monday all over again.
Yes.
Me too. It's more, well, to have in my purse.
Absolutely.
I always think we're making fun of you.
Is that for bladder control? Smaller?
No, it's just, I waste. It upsets me.
Oh,
I'm like, I
right.
didn't even finish
Yeah,
it.
finish it.
So we're gonna get here on time.
You are on time. Congratulations. It doesn't lie.
Oh, okay, yeah. We don't want to get too sick. Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. This is January 15th, 2025. It is 5 p.m. We are here with the work session with the Planning and Zoning and Historical Appropriateness Commission. This is a submission of a subdivision request, case number 061940. This subdivision was submitted by Mr. Sam Bernal. The address is 2615 Calle del Sur. If you look at the first page here after this cover page, you'll see a table of contents. We're going to be going through the packet in this particular. This is my go home or.
Is this it? Is
Um,
this what you're talking about?
This is the
Yeah.
table. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's-
first page.
The
you'll
The
see
first,
this
second
one.
page.
I don't have one.
We can share that.
Yeah, you don't have I have an extra packet. I don't know why your packet will.
Yeah, I don't have one. She doesn't have one either.
You just switch back.
Okay, thank you.
Can you throw that one over here? Back?
Well, can
Just
I
in
have
case
this
I-
page since I'm already writing over it? Here you go.
You already wrote notes on it already?
Well, I'm starting.
Oh, dude.
Yes, I'm
Okay, that's
I'll
good.
look at.
Thank you. All right, so make sure we're ready. You ready? Okay, so yeah, again, this is the table of contents. You guys have that. All right, so the very first sheet we're gonna go over is actually obviously is our board action form, and this is just a summary of what this case is about. A subdivision request, according to our code, needs to have the information reviewed by the commission to see if it's something that is doable before a preliminary plat is submitted. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. We are reviewing this information to see if Mr. Bernal is able to move forward in subdividing his property. So as you can see up there at the top, there is a case number 061940 2615 Calle del Sur submitted by Sam Bernal. He is requesting approval to subdivision of his property. The zone is historical residential. Background analysis, Mr. Bernal has, according to Doña Ana County records, 1.09 acre parcel. He is looking to subdivide the parcel into three. Each parcel will be approximately 0.32 acres, which is about almost 14,000 square feet. Parcel is behind his property on Calle del Sur. Mr. Bernal will be creating a private road easement to access these parcels via a community road of the south parcels. The community road mentioned is a private road currently owned by Rebecca L. Segovia. The road was established and approved with the Dan Lowry subdivision by the town of Mesilla in September of 1977. Ms. Segovia was deeded the community road according to Doña Ana County on February 18, 2015. Due to this road being approved as a part of the subdivision in 1977, it should be available for all properties in the subdivision as it was intended. The town attorney has reviewed these documents and submitted a written statement. If the owner, Mr. Bernal, chooses to subdivide and he meets all other requirements, that the 30-foot roadway should serve as an access point. Mr. Bernal is requesting approval via an alternate summary procedure and a deviation from the typical infrastructure improvements requirements, specifically from roadways, curbs, sidewalks, and gutter. The three parcels will be accessible with a private road to all three parcels and have an emergency egress for fire department use only on his property. Mesilla Town Engineering Company, Molson and Corbin, John Montoya has submitted a letter of recommendation due to town engineer, a recommendation the use of the alternative summary procedure. The reason for a deviation is because the private road has two private access roads before and after. Meeting all subdivision requirements with the paved street, curb, and gutter will not be accessible to the town of Mesilla once the final plat is approved and the town assumes responsibility for its care and maintenance. Fire department has also reviewed the preliminary plan and advised fire hydrants will need to be installed. We will see the attachment here shortly. We will skip down over to departmental comments. On August 15, 2017, Mr. and Mrs. Bernal had a discussion with the P&Z PZAC regarding requirements necessary to meet the subdivision. It was thought at that time a private road would be necessary through the Bernal's property coming off of Calle del Sur. There was not enough room to meet a 30-foot road due to the house being only approximately 20 feet and from the property line. At that point, the Bernals did not proceed with the request to subdivide. Supporting documents, draft plan, which is what you see here in front of us.
Right.
Don Laurie subdivision approval plat, we'll review those here shortly. Those are in the table of contents. Proof of ownership of the property, the PZAC work session minutes of August 17, 2015, New Mexico State Statutes Alternative Summary Procedure, New Mexico easement information, the town attorney's recommendation letter, the town engineer's recommendation letter, the fire department requirement list, a special warranty deed, and proof of mailing notification. The proof of mailing notification, I didn't include in today's packet, to be honest, that's only necessary when, if it moves forward to an actual hearing or this is just a work session at this time. I elected not to put it on there, but I assure you, it was sent out, and we do have the receipts to show that, okay? The next page number 7, you will see that there is a subdivision application. You notice the date is March of 26, 2024. So it's been 10 months, right? Particularly some of this, Mr. Bernal been working back and forth. It's been taking me some time to put this case together. It's also been taking Mr. Bernal and his team to put together a plat. It was a lot of it was a work, coming back and forth. You can't do that, you can do this, so we finally, I think, we're able to have something that we can propose to potentially be considered for approval. Also, if you notice there at the same application, you'll notice that he is requesting the variance for some of the infrastructure that is required. The back side of that, there's the checklist that's typically used for a subdivision that developer uses to follow whenever he installs all these lots and infrastructure. It's a bigger of a scale, right? As the town engineer mentioned, this request, recommended it goes through the alternative procedures, vices the subdivision. Various requests here on the next page, page number 9. There is a section of our code, section chapter 17.40, where it states that the applicant does have the opportunity to request a variance due to any kind of abnormalities or not so much of a hardship, but abnormalities of where the property is sitting. And again, the reason why he's requesting is because if he does follow the subdivision rules, after the final plat, the Mesilla takes responsibility of maintaining that road, where there's a private road before and there's a private road after. There's roadway access for the public to use that road, first of all, and second of all, for Mesilla, there's some responsibility he would have to get to those. So one of those reasons for that. So that is the section where it states that he is able to request that. The next page here, page 11, this is an actual email that I did receive back from Mr. Young, our town attorney. It does read, "Good morning, Eddie. For our conversation at my office this morning, it appears that the 30-foot road beneath track 3 was part of the initial Down Lowry subdivision plat approved by the town back in 1977. That plat is attached. For the purpose of reviewing a subdivision application for the current owner of track 3, therefore that the roadway is permissible access for the entirety of the track." Okay, and what he's talking about, this is just his plat. We're gonna follow up after this letter, where we can look up that plat that we're talking about here. If the owner chooses to subdivide and meets all the requirements that 30-foot roadway could serve as an access point, the owner will need to clarify through a title company as the viability of access to his property once he subdivides. Again, the town's role in the process is to ensure he meets the criteria established by the subdivision ordinance. If he does meet that criteria, subdivision should be allowed. Again, just a reminder that obviously there's a lot of questions outside of our jurisdiction or outside of our code. That is a matter that I've already spoken with Mr. Bernal, that he would need to look up, as the attorney mentioned. One of the things would, do a search through the title company to make sure that all that is. We do not have any jurisdiction over that. That would be something that he would need to be taken care of. As far as for our purposes of making decision, the decision is being made or considered based off of our code and the information I present tonight or during the actual meeting for consideration. The next page you'll see is Molson and Corbin. This is our town engineer. I asked him to kind of take a look at the plat. Keep in mind, this is not a formal preliminary plat. This is just a workshop. This is just to see if Mr. Bernal is willing to get approved and submit, because it is financially intended. It is quite a bit of money when you have to do this. So this is something that is necessary before that happens. Again, this is from Olson and Corbin. This is from our town engineer, and he states, recommendation for the use of alternate summary procedure for family lot split. Dear Mr. Salazar, I am writing to provide my professional recommendation regarding the proposed family lot split for the property located at parcel number 4006138178177. After reviewing the request, I believe the subdivision meets the criteria outlined in the town of Mesilla subdivision regulations for an alternate summary procedure, and therefore qualifies for a deviation from certain infrastructure improvement requirements. Under the town subdivision regulations, specifically Title 17.35, the alternate summary procedures allows for more streamlined approval process for a family lot splits. Given that the intent of the proposed subdivision is to transfer portion of land to a family member for personal use and not that further commercial development is planned, I believe the subdivision qualifies for and should be processed under this procedure. As part of the request, the applicant should seek a deviation from the typical infrastructure improvement requirements, which would normally include roadways, curbs, sidewalks, utilities, and drainage. Given the limited scope of his family lot split and the fact that it will not result in additional commercial or intensive residential development, I recommend approval for this deviation. The proposed split will not place an undue burden on public infrastructure, nor will it not negatively impact public services or the surrounding community. My professional judgment, the request deviation is appropriate given the nature of the project, and it aligns with the intent of all alternate summary procedures, which is designed to accommodate minor subdivision like this one without the need for full infrastructure development. Based on these considerations, I recommend the planning officials support the subdivision and allow the family lot to proceed under the alternate summary subdivision. And you can see his signature, John T. Montoya, again from Olson and Corbin. The next sheet of paper you'll see is page 15. This is an email I got back from Mr. Greg Whited. He is our fire department marshal, and he likes to send codes. I mean, it's quite a bit of information. So let me just highlight some of the things that I think are important for this case. We can read through all of it, but I think actually I did have them highlighted. I don't know why they're not highlighted. But just give me a minute. I can very briefly, according to this code section, fire apparatus access roads are required to be all-weather surface roads that are designed for the weight and the type of emergency vehicle that may be on the road. No specific material is required for a fire apparatus access roadway. It is up to the fire department to determine what is adequate when it comes to roadways. And Greg, again, he will be in communication with the engineer if Mr. Bernal chooses to make sure that all those are met through fire code. Also, one of the things, the exit, egress, Greg Whited, he was concerned, obviously, the very first thing, we need a turnaround for a truck in case it's more than 150 feet, right? There needs to be some kind of turnaround in order for vehicles to, retrieve or exit safely. Obviously, this road is longer than 150 feet. Therefore, Mr. Bernal, if you look at the plat right here, there is a 20-foot emergency egress for all fire trucks to exit into Calle del Sur. Other than that, this normally will not be used, but it will still be available for fire to exit. According to this document, which is fire code, if you go down to 503.21, it says dimensions: fire apparatus access road shall have an unobstructed width of no less than 20 feet, exclusive of shoulders, except of approved security gates, and so on and so on. So basically, that road he has there just barely meets those requirements of 20 feet to have that, again, that emergency egress on that property. So again, there is also, he is aware that there are going to be some fire hydrants and such that are going to need to be installed, but that will come obviously with the preliminary plat, with the town engineer and his engineer coming together to make sure that all the forms of plats and regulations are going to be met. Okay. The next page is a special warranty deed. We're starting going now into actually the property deeds. Did some research. I had to go down to Doña Ana County and look at the archives, and I had a lot of help. I appreciate their help. They have a very amazing record department. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
But eventually we'll get there. But yeah, some of these deeds that came out of this property with their help. One of them is a special warranty deed. The special warranty deed was from Dan E. Laurie and Pat E. Laurie. It's with a revocable trust dated September 10, 2004. All right. And it just gives a description of the property pretty much, right? So I can just direct you to the last sentence of this deed. This deed was a deed that was signed and recorded before the current property owner was deeded her deed. So this is the one that was before. After this one, she took ownership of the property of the road with another deed. All right, but this one's the one that was before. And one of the last sentence says here says the grantors declared that this property is their community property and shall remain their community property even though it is held in this trust. Okay, basically, how do you interpret that? Basically, what it means is this road is a community road property for all access, all tracks to be accessible to. Okay, and then it goes to 1.3043, and this is just this is just a description of the plat of the road itself we're talking about.
Okay.
And then you're gonna go to page 21. Okay, it says easements and road maintenance agreement. Okay, and if you pay attention to the date, it says this is in February 22nd, 1990. Agreement, and it's very blurry. I apologize for that, but this is the best I can do with the records that they had. Agreement in 22nd of February 1990, and well, you guys can help me out here. What does it say? It's kind of blurry.
By and between the undersigned parties.
Exactly.
For consideration.
And of the sum of $1 for non-available consideration, the receipt of which is hereby acknowledged. Whereas the undersigned parties are each owners as tenants in common to an equal, undivided internal in the property described as follows. Okay. Whereas then we're going to goes on to whereas hereto consideration that it will be to the benefit of each of the parties hereto for themselves, therefore several heirs, executors, administrators, and assigns covenants and agree each with other that for the purpose of making an easement for a common right of way for the ingress and egress and for the purpose of creating a common driveway for the benefit each one of them. Okay. Now, therefore, the parties hereto agree each with others than the follows that the easement is for a common driveway for ingress and egress over and across the entire portion of the property described here within be and hereby is created over the property described, and then it gives obviously the description of the road. Okay, that alone obviously tells you right there when it was approved that this road is meant for
that purpose.
for the purpose of all the lots within those tracts.
1 acre lot.
Okay, exactly. Now we're gonna go, and then it continues to describe a different section of the plat. But the other one I would like to direct you to is page 23, and this is the actual subdivision. Again, I apologize for how small it is, but it is readable. That's the information that they had. This is the actual subdivision that was approved in 1977. Okay, and if you notice, there is the road is already is in place as it is now. And that road again was approved. The subdivision was approved with that road in place. Okay. Now a subdivision policy, ours here in Mississippi and any other ones that I've come across in any municipalities, anytime a subdivider develops and has a subdivision, they go through the same process. The same process is they what we're doing here. They go through a preliminary plat, right, which outlines everything. The commission or the Mississippi will tell them exactly what they expect. I want this drainage. Through the town engineer's eyes as well. And then they're allowed 22 months as our code. 22 months in our code to complete the project.
Okay.
Once it's complete, then the town will have an elected official who out there does all the inspection of all the infrastructure of the roadways, the drainage, the ponds, everything that he's required to, every infrastructure he's required to, because what's going to happen After he's complete and the approval of the final plat, the town takes assumes responsibility of that road. Okay, and driveways and sidewalks and everything, right? Normally, that's how it happens to a subdivision, okay? Now, that didn't happen for some reason.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Thank you.
And for some reason, that didn't happen this time. I don't know why, after the subdivision was completed, right? Why it wasn't assumed responsibility, why Messiah didn't take over that, okay? My recommendation is that Messiah does take over that road, okay? And maintain it as a public road. Doesn't necessarily mean it's got to get paved. There are many municipalities, especially townships, that do have public roads. There are gravel roads that meet, fire and so on forth requirement. But my recommendation is takes over. Obviously, that's for legal. This is a private property. We're not going to get into, how they're going to do or what. That's just, again, I think that it should be looked at by legal to figure out why that road was not uptaken from the town. Along with any other roads, a lot of these subdivisions are being subdivided in the past that were never subdivided. I mean, they were never assumed responsibility for the roads. Okay. Now, the other subdivision, the other one, see right here, page 25. Okay, this is a subdivision that was done on the plat next to it, which is Mrs. Rebecca Segovia's road property, is at the end of this road. She was the one that was deeded this road from Mr. Dan Lowry. All right, this is the one here, Mr. Gallego, the one that's faced on the table itself. That one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was the one that was deeded, and she's taking responsibility for that road and upkeep on that road since then. I applaud her. I feel for her because I do feel that the town should have been taking responsibility since then, and she shouldn't have. They had paid taxes and everything else on it. I don't think that was it was an oversight in my part. But anywho, obviously she's taking care of that road very well, and I think she has ownership to it. I mean, she loves the road. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, but that road was made and approved for access to not only her lots, but also the one where Mr. Bernal's is intended to. Because if without that road, that lot would be landlocked,
Right.
and that's illegal. You just can't have a landlocked property, right? That is why that road is there.
Okay.
So anyway, this is a plat that they did. If you look at the next page, not the next page, but the next on page 27, this is something that Mrs. Segovia actually dropped off that I didn't know. I didn't have this information. I thanked her for that. But like putting stuff upside down.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it gives you a description of actually a disclosure of the statement of the subdivision itself, and this is kind of cool because and especially the condition it's in, it's well taken care of. But it's very easy to read. So basically, you'll see, the information that the subdivision, any subdivider that does one, this is what's required of them to do. Number 4, if you look at number 4, size of parcels offered for sale in subdivision. These are the tracks 6, 7, 8, and 9. Lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, lots 1 through 9 in a sense. And then it says how much they pay for it, in average, how much, and then continue all the information with utilities, installation of utilities and such. Fire protection, Messiah volunteers, fire department will answer alarms within the subdivision. Fire hydrants are already located within the area. All right. How many additional more are going to be required? I'm not certain. It's going to be up to the town engineer and his engineer.
Distance between them, yeah.
Okay. Public schools and so forth and so on. And I don't think there's other than just basic description of the schools, of the hospitals, shopping facilities, recreational facilities, public transportation and such. But I do want to point out is this last one at the very end, which is a copy of the subdivision in much zooming in a much more visible way. Okay. If you notice, there is the road for this. The road is going to be. The road is going to be right here, okay? And the road is going to be right here. You notice that road right there, right? Everybody sees that? Okay. Now the road comes off of, I believe, is Messiah Circle, right?
Yeah.
Comes off of Messiah Circle, and again, it was intended for this plat here, and then this plat right here. Okay. Now there are some concerns from the people that own this property next to the drainage ditch, right? This plat right here was one solid plat. If you see it right here, all right. And if you notice,
Yeah, they were split. Yeah.
they also subdivided their
Right.
property,
Right.
right? into, I thought it was two, but basically if you count, there's three.
Hmm.
This plot right here next to the drainage ditch was subdivided into 3 lots.
Okay.
And that's exactly what Mr. Bernal's trying to do, is subdivide this plat into 3 lots.
Yeah.
And the same thing, they went through an alternate subdivision because, again, for the same purpose that he's requesting, they did not have to meet all those requirements. Okay? Now.
It was a family lot split, the same way?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Family lot split.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, because our code says that anything more than 2 is required to be a subdivision, right? Subdivision is not a summary. So because there's 3, I can only assume, I haven't gone to all the information yet, but because there are 3, I'm willing to say that more than likely they went through the same procedures, all right? If they didn't go through the same procedures, if they didn't go through the subdivision procedures and they split it 3 ways, then obviously they didn't do it right? So he is just, Mr. Bernal is just requesting to do the exact same thing that they did already, okay? The utilities for this 3 plots right here will be coming from Calle del Sur. Anything from either the drainage ditch or the commercial is not doable. For one is the lines feeding those properties, they're too small. There's not enough volume or pressure to be able to sustain all those 3. So even if they wanted to, there's no way they can,
Come on.
create, having to
Either
do
way.
any easements from any, this is gonna be all on his property, to get done. Okay? And then we move on. This next one is page 31. This is just the application that he submitted, in 2015 of August. And this is just the minutes, the agenda, the work session that he had. And it was very basic. We notice on here, he was Subdivision 15-001, submitted by Sam and Beatriz Bernal, a request for a 2 or PZ Act to determine what requirements will be necessary to complete the application. Basically what we're doing today, in a sense. And then, he did get a list of that, which is the following after you notice in the work session. There is a list. Case 15, the applicant provided, is all highlighted exactly what, all this is what he was required, which in the sense, again, he's gonna have to meet some requirement, but if it's considered this time around as well. Right. Now, the last 2-3 pages, I think it's the last, they're double-sided. But anyway, this is a page that was submitted by the owner of that road, Mrs. Rebecca Segovia. I'll read it out loud. My name is Rebecca Segovia, and I reside at 2928 La Mesilla Circle. I am writing to address a matter of concern regarding the proposal by San Bernal to subdivide his property at 2615 Calle del Sur, Track 3. In order to proceed with this subdivision, Mr. Bernal is seeking access through my private property at 2928 La Mesilla Circle. This property, which I now own, has historically served as the sole access point for 2 landlocked properties, 2928 and 2930 La Mesilla Circle. The tract of land is in question was previously owned by Dan Laurie and has always been utilized as a private driveway for these properties. In addition, this tract provides the only viable entrance to my property. To provide some context, Mr. Laurie offered this tract to the town of Mesilla, but the offer was declined due to significant costs involved in bringing the property up to code for public road standards. Mr. Bernal was also given the opportunity to acquire this land, but he declined the offer at that time. Given that I reside at the end of the driveway and rely on it as the sole access to my property, I choose to accept ownership of the tract to avoid any potential access issues. When my parents passed away, the property was inherited by their daughters, and including myself, as part of requirements set forth by the town of Mesilla and Mesilla Fire Department for subdividing the land. We were obligated to provide a 30-foot strip of land for a private emergency access road. At that point, Mr. Bernal was asked if he would share 15 of his property to help meet these requirements, but he refused. As a result, we were unable to subdivide the land into 4 parcels as my parents had intended, as we could not fulfill emergency access requirements without Mr. Bernal's cooperation. It is important to note that this tract of land has been enclosed by a fence since approximately 1984, extending from the corner of Mr. Bernal's property to mine, and has never used as a public access point. It has consistently served as a private driveway for residents of 2928 and 2930 La Mesilla Circle. I now hold the title to this land, pay the property taxes on it, and maintain the road. The tract is not listed as an easement or for any public or utility purposes. The only utility easement for our area is located on the west side of my property along the drainage ditch. The land in question is legally and exclusively mine. Okay, now there's continuation in the back. As such, I do not grant permission for my property to be used as a public road or to be altered in any way for subdivision access. I am aware that there are specific requirements for establishing public roads in a subdivision, and I respectfully request that no changes be made to my property for this purpose. If there are any questions or further discussion needed regarding this matter, please do not hesitate to contact me. That is our phone number. Thank you for your attention to this important issue. I trust that the town of Mesilla will respect my rights as a landlord and uphold the integrity of property in our community. The next page was
38,
also sent
39.
an email from Nora Barrata. She lives on a property close to, I believe it's two properties down. Eddie, I received a certified letter from the town of Mesilla yesterday, January 14, 2025, that was received at the post office January 8th. We have been out of town, therefore the late correspondence. We do have some concerns regarding the proposed subdivision, but without knowing exactly what is being proposed, it is difficult to make comments. The one major concern we have is access to the proposed subdivision. Our understanding is that the owner of the proposed subdivision is talking about using private property to access the subdivision. If that is the case, we are absolutely against them having access to the private road. The owner of the property was deeded the property by the previous owner, totally maintains and funds that property and pays for property taxes on it. I am sure the developer can find other means to access the property subdivision. We will be at the work session, and hopefully some of the concerns be addressed. Lastly, this is also one of the parcels that is at the end of that road, next to Mrs. Segovia's road, I believe. His name is Frank Acosta. It's a relative of the family. Eddie, my name is Frank Acosta Jr. I am one of the owners of the property west of Mr. Bernal's property. The other owner is my son, Ian Acosta. We have no issues with Mr. Bernal wanting to build a subdivision on his property. Our concerns are with the access roads and utilities needed for the subdivision. We don't want our property being affected by it. He feels that, there's going to be an easement requested to go through his property to access Mr. Bernal. And obviously that's not the case.
Because he's west of Sewer.
Correct.
Across the street.
He's right next to the drainage ditch.
Okay.
It's not Mrs. which is at the end of the driveway.
Right.
And then there's another parcel, and then I believe after that one is his.
Okay.
So you notice, I can show it to you, but yeah,
okay.
It's at the end of that. Affected by a utility company wanting our land to fulfill infrastructure requirements for the project. We believe that all utilities and vehicles access roads should come from University in the event Calle del Sur, not from the access road of La Mesilla Road entrance, leading to Rebecca Segovia's home and our property. I'm willing to discuss with you and Mr. Bernal about any concerns or issues that may arise from my comments or concerns to this matter. I'll be reached at the email below or cell phone below, or number below. And I answer back to them. I told anyone I was ready to do that. And that, Commissioner, is the end of my investigation.
Yes.
Detective Eddie.
Detective Eddie.
So again, I understand these concerns. In a nutshell, I just think that road, once the subdivision was completed, is a community road. It was approved as a community road, and it should stay as a community road. I think my recommendation would be to the mayor and the BOT to speak with the property owner if there is an opportunity to absorb that road and maintain that road from here on out. Discussion.
Yeah, I have some major concerns because if Ms. Segovia has deed to that property, I wouldn't want somebody coming over my private property either to access something.
Sure.
She's been paying taxes on it. She's got the deed to it. How can we just absorb that and take that from her? I don't understand.
I just think that she should have never had gone to that.
But she does, though.
But she
Eddie.
does.
She does have a
And I
deed to
think
that.
I think Mr. Lowry, Mr. Dan Lowry, I think he knew that. That's why he deeded that property to her, because he wanted to get it off his hands. I think the concern needs to be between Mrs. Segovia and Mr. Lowry. She needs to seek compensation back from him because
paying the
he gave
taxes.
her a property with the wrong intent. He made her believe that property was his to give to her,
But it was the town's.
but it was not.
No,
That
it was
road
his
was
property.
approved to service that access
That
for
whole-
that to come in. It's not an easy case. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
this is what I came up with in investigation. I'm open to any.
So am I
I
wrong
just-
when I say it? It was the town's when
No, it was
intended
never.
as the road.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
we're not taking right now.
It's-
We will have a meeting after.
Oh, okay.
This is
I'm
just
sorry. When you said discussion, I thought you meant.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Just for this.
Now, this is just us, but there is going to be an opportunity for all of you. I see you shaking your head. I mean, it's for all of you to make comments. And I'm glad you're all here because, again, this is not something we're trying to do under the table, and we just want to do the right thing, okay?
So
So-
I guess to clarify, Ms. Mueller, is that the way I'm understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, this land was on Mr. Lowry's, right?
Yeah.
And so when he deeded it, her deed was that road. It wasn't a private, she could have built whatever she wanted on that road, but she ended up making it into a road.
Well, for
No,
access.
it-
No,
it's-
I
Yeah,
had to be
access.
for access.
And
Okay.
I understand you think about it that way, but because that land was submitted to the town of Mesilla as a subdivision,
Mhm.
right, to be tracked, he's required to provide access to all the plats that he sold.
Yeah.
Right?
So-
Once that access in that road form, 30-foot road form is complete, right? All they sell is infrastructure, then that road needs to be available for all those tracks to use.
What they be landlocked.
How was it absorbed? How was it absorbed into private property?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he deeded it to Mrs. Segovia and made her think that it was a
Well,
private road for her to keep. which
Ill
it-
intentions or not, he gave her a deed.
Mm-hmm.
It's her personal property. She's maintained it and she's paid taxes on it.
That's what happened, but I'm telling you that
That's not her fault.
It's not her
No,
fault.
no.
I don't think it is. Now, it also isn't the the owner's fault that he can't access his property
But he-
because somebody
doesn't
else
he
is
have
doing.
access through the front of
Yes,
his
he
property?
does.
I mean,
Well, we're looking, that's what my question is. So that's self and
Yeah.
EBID property, right? Towards the, is it part of the drainage ditch?
Maybe I do.
So that's EBID, right? Part of your presentation stated that was not an option.
it's not.
Not an option.
You're right.
It's just
Well,
for
there is
emergency
utilities,
use.
but there's not enough pressure water. The lines are not
Yeah.
big enough to be able to provide water to all those three volume wise. So the pressure wouldn't be there.
No, but I think what he's saying is, could they access it through that EBID? But you
Mm.
can't. It only has
No.
to be for emergency vehicles.
Not only, no utilities.
Mm.
So what do the property owners do? Like, how do they access their property?
Well, his house is in front.
How do they get there?
He lives there.
Well, he lives right here.
How do they bring in the utilities?
Sure.
How do they access their property?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he lives there, and then this is
Like, I
behind
understand
him,
that it's,
He
right?
didn't
I
have any-
understand that the easement's deeded over.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been.
You're
It
right.
was. You can't argue that, but then how did the current landowners access the property?
What if he wasn't the owner? What if he wasn't the owner and this track right here would have been landlocked? I'm just saying he has right to it. Yeah, there are right way, but he has a right to use this road. According to, again,
If
the
that was my road,
attorney,
I'd put a
the
fence
attorney
up.
reviewed it. The attorney
Yeah.
reviewed it. I reviewed it. It was approved through the town, 1977, with that road in place as a community road.
Community road.
You saw the deed that I read with the maintenance and all that. All of them around it are eligible to use that road. Now, why was it deeded? I think it was the wrong thing to do. I think she took a lot of responsibility and financial lot of money
I
that
don't
she
think
should have
took
taken.
responsibility, Eddie, if she didn't know that.
No, it's not her responsibility. I mean,
Well,
she
you
took
said
all
it was,
responsibility
but-
over the maintaining the road.
Wayne too.
Not
She did take
responsibility in
responsibility of
fact.
that easement.
Well, it's her deed.
Yeah.
I would take care of it if it was my deed
We're not
as
arguing with
well.
that. She's been doing it. Yes, she's been doing it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I
Our
get it.
question is, what do we do next?
The thing is,
She
we
needs
failed
to be
in the
compensated
past to
for
take
it,
that
yeah.
road and maintain it ourselves, Miss Sia. We just failed to do that.
And compensate her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, again, again, through his direction, you just read the email. For our purpose of our reviewing and stay within our authority.
Right.
You know, we just need to make a decision based on his request. Does it meet all the requirements? The alternate procedure, and can he subdivide? And I say, yes, he can.
And
So,
so the deed actually says he can subdivide, or is it, or does the deed say you cannot?
Oh, right
Well, let
here.
me look at it. What part does, I'm
It says.
don't recall reading that, but I think Ms. Segovia, whenever she stopped by my office, she read a part of that. But I was looking for that. I didn't get it. Wasn't able to find it. But I'm thinking it does say that, right? If it does say it can't be subdivided, that road was only
It doesn't say that.
It doesn't-
access to
It doesn't say.
the parcels that are there. Well, they subdivided their parcels at the end too.
Can you present something?
Yeah, I have it right here. Where does it say?
It would say on,
I was making this exception because I
number
didn't read-
7, number 7.
Okay. State of all restrictions of reservations, a record subjecting the subdivided land to any unusual condition affecting its use or occupancy. Presently zone HR to tract shall be no tract shall be decreased in size, and the town of Mesilla shall have the right to enforce said covenants in the court of law. Okay, this is the deed that was written, but two things I'll tell you. One is the town of Mesilla does not enforce covenants, right? We will not operate that. We will operate off of our codes. They do their own covenants in a sense.
Okay.
Two, if the properties cannot be subdivided, right, which meaning no more homes can be here because you don't want them going to this road. This is pretty much what they're saying. So, right, so if you look at this plot, right, this plot was just like this. This was also one single plot, which also this description number 7 refers to this one as well, right? But this one was subdivided into 3, right? So if that's the case, why do they get to subdivide it into 3 and they can't?
I thought we couldn't subdivide after 1964. Are these all exceptions?
No, this is still an HR zone, and the minimum standard requirements is 8,000 square feet, so they can still subdivide.
Even present, you can still subdivide today.
Yeah.
So Eddie, explain to me, like you're showing on this, on that,
That
On
map.
this one?
yes. So his house is right here in, yes. And
Right
so,
here.
okay,
Yeah.
all of this belongs to him?
Yes.
This whole,
So how can that be landlocked if this whole thing is one,
No, it's not. This is 2 parcels. This is 1 parcel, and then this
he
is
wants
on this
to
3
subdivide
is a
these
different.
So there's three different deeds?
No, this
Or
again,
2
this is 1 deed.
Uh-huh.
He owns it, and then all these 3 is one. Also, only one
One
parcel.
deed.
He wants to subdivide.
That's
Is
what
that he wants to make them
3.
And this is the
which is
point of
exactly
contention.
Yeah,
this is exactly what they did
Access.
at the end of their private road.
Does Mr. Bernal have access to his property using Sylvia's easement?
No,
Okay.
no, he can't.
How do you access the property? I mean,
I'm sorry, I can't allow you.
Alright.
I know you want
I was
to.
just, no, I was just gonna explain why it was,
Yeah,
why that section was
Yeah, because I get you, then everybody's
yeah.
gonna.
Yeah,
no,
it's
that's
gonna be
fine.
crazy.
We can have our discussion.
Yeah.
He knows what's going
So that's what I'll give you the floor. What else? Do you,
No.
anything else?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on, I was writing all kinds of notes. In 2015, why was it, why didn't
Why was it
he,
denied?
yeah, why was it denied, or why didn't he go through with it in 2015?
Who, Mr. Bernal? Or
Yes.
To do what? Oh,
The
because
subdivision then.
Because my understanding, he was under the impression that there was no way he can use that back road. There wasn't an investigation done deep enough to get that. His direction was the only way he was able to do it is through the front,
Alongside of his
right?
house.
And that's why
And
we're
he
saying
only
that. Why
had
can't he
20
do it to the front? Well, then he was told that space between his home and the home was too close to their properties, and they didn't want any traffic going through there. So they requested him to say, no, don't do that, put it on the other side. Well, he should have a right to be able to access his property, first of all, how he wants to on each one of the property. On the other side, he has the exact same dimensions of 20 feet because he has
From
an
the house.
adobe structure right here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I measured it, and it's 20 feet as well. So regardless of what side it's in, right, at that time, he did not qualify according
He
to the
needed
town.
30 instead of the 20.
Exactly, and it was too
Right.
close, exactly. The only way it works now, because it's an emergency egress, right, it's not meant for traffic, and that's why it will.
And you'll probably have to put up signs for the
Yeah.
egress for the,
And it's gotta
fire
be
trucks.
unlocked, or the fire
Yeah,
department's gotta have their own
yeah,
locks.
yeah,
But yeah, actually, the town engineer was the one that helped me out with putting some of this together.
Hmm.
That is why back then it wasn't, my understanding.
But, okay, so let me go back. So you said he was denied because he didn't have access, or he was, but it sounds to me in the letter that they offered him access to pay half to do.
Oh, yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
that
half
was
and stuff.
between both neighbors, right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
a civil issue that the town has no
Right,
no
I get
jurisdiction
it,
over,
I get
Yeah.
that they
that.
try to come to a compromise. That way, everybody's satisfied,
Mm.
right? For
Right.
whatever reason,
It
right?
didn't happen.
It didn't happen, that's dispute between neighbors and stuff, and this
Right.
happens all the time. I try not to make a decision or investigation
Based on that.
based on those facts. Any other? Anything else? No, I'm open, I'm trying to do the right thing.
Well-
So
Well,
why would
I'm like always the one getting in trouble.
No, you're not.
I
It's good
think,
trouble.
I think, again, I feel that if Ms. Segovia had to go through all that, I think she should have, right? I think the town should have taken responsibility, but I think by, proposing to the BOT and that we should absorb that road, I think it should relieve a lot of responsibility from here on out. I can't change the
Yeah.
path, I mean, that happened.
is
All
this
I can do is
person
try to make
still
it-
alive? Is Dan Lowry still
Yeah,
alive?
so is the
My understanding, no, I think he
No.
passed away.
So, okay, there's no point of
Yeah.
trying to fix
Seeking-
that wrong
yeah,
that
I don't know, maybe he's
he deeded,
got a trust, I don't know, that's legally, somebody's
because
gonna have to
that's
do
the
something.
real
Right.
problem.
Yeah. Would you show us that other map that shows the juxtaposition between other properties to the,
Yeah.
and it showed a
Which-
turnaround for the trucks, for the fire trucks. It showed a
Oh, that
50
one,
by 50.
you're talking about this one?
Yeah.
That's page 25.
Let's look at that. Oh, yeah, here I see. So it does. So
Yeah,
obviously the access to these two properties, one occupied by Rebecca.
Mhm,
The other one is not occupied, correct,
Correct.
to the west.
Mhm.
And so it shows that eventually, and they haven't, I don't think they put it in there, this private road, it says here, which is actually a community road, I think it was what I heard, that's only access to these two properties, but they don't have that road, that section of road that's dotted in,
Mhm.
and they don't have the turnaround there. So that was for the fire trucks. Well, I think it's a benefit to both properties, both sides, is if this roadway is extended for the fire trucks to get out, they wouldn't have to have a turnaround.
Correct.
And they wouldn't have to have this section of road here because couldn't they use this access
Yes.
road 20 feet
Yes, and that's,
tying into this road?
yes.
Okay. I just
See,
wondered.
that's the thing, so
I'm lost.
so this is like actually a very good point, Mr. Walker.
Yeah,
Let
go
me
ahead.
explain. So if this road does get absorbed from the town of Mesilla, right, and this road is installed in here for the purpose of subdividing, this road will eventually also be absorbed by the town of Mesilla.
Okay,
The only emergency egress will be on Mr. Bernal's.
because of the
on this-
width.
Because of the width,
Width,
right? They will be, the properties over here, which is these, will be able to use these roads as well.
Instead of having.
If
it
it's
on their
absorbed, if it's
property.
not absorbed, and he does his own private road and just how he's proposing, if they deny the town to take it back, then they can't use this road. Because it's his private road.
Oh, he can have a private road, but she can't have a private road.
They both can have a private road.
Oh, okay,
I'm talking about these two.
right,
For these two
right.
properties.
This one here needs to be a community because the whole subdivision was approved. That road was
Based on that.
But
was
that-
made to
I
access
thought
these roads.
that this is a community road right here. It's a private road. This is the road, is this the road up to her house?
Yeah,
Whenever-
that's the
whenever
one
a
she's-
subdivision is
Hold on, sorry, Eddie. I'm confused because why can't some of this land that he's gonna be using, why can't that be a road to access all the way through?
Well, that's what I was suggesting, because you see here on this map, they have this private road or community road, whatever you want to call it,
Right,
comes to there, and that's serving these two lots.
right.
Well, if he has the road on his property, then everyone could use it. Both sides could use
So in
it
other words,
for
if
access
if they
to.
Now
give
this,
access to
He
this,
won't be able to because this is
Right,
his
right.
property.
I know.
then they would have
At
this
least up to
portion
there,
of
where
there
they
to
have their-
access. So it may be a benefit to,
So to everybody, I mean,
Yeah.
they're not taking responsibility. They're now they don't have to have a road here. They'll be able to use if it becomes public. Again, after the subdivision, the town takes over it. We maintain that road, so they don't have to. That's how it works. That shit should have worked. Have worked long time ago. Would have relieved a lot of this tension between both neighbors. Right. I'm thinking that's probably what caused it, right?
Right.
Because it wasn't done. It wasn't done.
Was
right
it
the
done
first time.
properly?
Well, it seems to me, and I'm just like, I'm not an engineer and I'm not anything like that. So, but it seems to me like this road, so where is university? Right here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, up there.
Yeah. Right.
And then
So,
what is the road that's coming down?
Messias Circle.
Macias,
Okay,
This is
that's
the-
back over here. There's a church here. Remember
This
the
is
church
the
on
church.
right?
Searching for them.
So it goes around there. So this continues
Yeah.
until it
Coming out
gets
to the
intersects.
circle.
Oh, but I thought there was a road that was right here before it gets to her
No,
road.
no.
No.
Well, it is.
It
It's,
is.
it's back
And
here.
then you turn-
It's
So there's
Macias
another
Circle.
lot right here.
And then the school's beyond
You
there.
see it right here, there's another lot right here.
Right,
That's
Yeah.
the
So
church.
Messias
right
Circle
here
is
is where
and
the
then-
church is.
the church, right. And this is a road right here.
No,
No,
no, there's
this
no
is
road
the church.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is Macias Circle. And this is the
tied
disputed,
into.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Here.
because I walked all the
This is
way
it. Taking care of
Yeah.
the shop.
We do
around
have-
here today.
Okay.
But that's the road you're asking about, Montessia Circle, that's the community road, that's Rebecca Segovia's house. That's-
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so Messias Circle. Okay, I got it.
We need to fly,
All right.
so we can see. Yeah.
Again, keep in mind, the town engineer saw all these plans, and this is how he explained it to me how it works. Right, this is not something I'm making up. I wouldn't do that on myself. Put that much responsibility on me. He, and it's again, the town engineer looked at the plans, and this is how we can make it work. And the town attorneys mentioned, because it was approved part of the community subdivision, then that road is again, I read, is access point for all these other flats.
Oh,
What happened in the past, I can't change. It
Yep.
shouldn't have happened. That, I believe that is why this whole tension is
Right, so
between
we're
them,
trying to correct
because it
that.
wasn't done right. So let's make it right.
But why can't you take some land from right
Yeah.
here that nobody's using and make that the access that way?
But you
Well,
still
she is
need
using
this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Still
No,
need
I guess I'm talking about right here. Then it would be right here off of Messias Circle, right here, and then go that way with it. I don't know. That would
That's
parallel her driveway.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's-
doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Yeah,
That's
have
okay.
two
What's her
roads.
private? I mean,
Well,
she's got the
again,
deed,
again,
though.
they're
That's
they're
what I'm
But it
trying
was
to
a
having a
get
hard time with.
compensate.
But it
for
was
it.
a mistake.
So they're trying to compensate
but
for it.
I know it's a mistake, but if somebody gave me a deed and I've been taking care of something for I don't know how many years, it's not a mistake on my part. Why
No,
should I suffer from it?
Well,
I think when you mention why should I suffer from it, is obviously you feel that you're losing property and investment into it, right?
Right.
Now,
Well, I'm sure.
I
that they didn't
think
get
that
free.
if I was to offer to take care of your property for you, so you don't have to no longer pay taxes.
And compensate.
And compensate somehow. I don't know. This is all legal
Yeah,
stuff. I don't know how. I don't know what would happen. All I know is this should have happened, and it didn't happen. Again, it unfortunate, and I will be on your same thing, I mean, and hers and anybody else. If that was my property, I'd be fighting
Yeah.
for it too, right? But it wasn't done right, and it does, and it's affecting the neighboring properties from
Yeah.
I
doing
wish I
what they have the
had
right to
walked
do,
down
which
there.
is subdivide.
I did, yeah, I went down, I did
I
it
I
a
drove
couple of
down this
times,
road,
yeah. I'm like.
but I couldn't get on that road.
But just keep in mind again, if that,
It was me.
It was probably
Land Rover.
me. It could have been me though too. I was driving on private property.
Strike guy.
I was too.
I was on a white truck.
Somebody was in a white car.
Yeah, that's me.
That was
And I was on foot.
oh geez, everybody.
He's got it on the camera. He's got a camera there.
We always.
No, just if
That's good.
anybody has any questions to me.
Yeah.
I mean, by all means, I mean, I think Eddie has done a lot of
Lot of.
a lot of homework, and I like he's expressed a lot of words. You know, it's caused a lot of, you know, all I'm trying to do is so my kids can have something. Okay. That's all I'm trying to do.
What structure is
That
back
don't
behind
be
your
the-
lot?
Oh my God, that's history right there.
That's falling down. Well, anyway,
Yes,
that's
yes,
going
you saw
away.
that.
That's
That's-
going away. And you've been-
No.
Well,
We're not-
I mean,
Okay,
that's
never
gonna
mind.
be another story.
Okay.
If it ever does get subdivided,
Okay, okay.
that's gonna be
That's for
another
later.
option.
That's for later. Okay.
And that's gonna be up to my kids.
I
Right,
guess,
right. Okay.
I just want to make one comment, and I know, I understand how everybody's feeling and stuff, but I just want to just ask Mr. Bernal if it's okay.
Yeah.
If it's going to be just for your kids and you have that 20-foot availability between your house and whatever, and then they have the easement on EBID, would you not allow your kids to go through?
Yes,
The
by all
front?
means, yes. But my understanding that there's gotta be an entrance from both sides. I don't know.
For the purpose of the fire truck.
Fire trucks.
Now, this again, this
It
is,
would be on going through EBID though, right?
no.
No, no,
You go
no.
like that.
No, the ditch is not even.
It would be
Take
going
a
through
turn
his
and go
property.
back up there.
Anywho,
Okay.
any other comments?
Where do you?
I
see
guess,
the
I
ditch?
guess
I don't
Mr. Bernal is
understand
kind of
the
looking
question.
for,
The
this is
ditch
something
way
that you
over
wish,
here and
because
his track
after
is-
this, there's a lot of regulations, requirements he's gonna have to meet, right?
Right.
And that's gonna cost,
I personally.
Lot of
think that
money.
What they need to do
and
is
he'd
come in
like to
right
feel
here.
that he's.
And
maybe
then
something-
that would just stop all of it. Because she's got the deed. I guess that's where I'm stuck.
By mistake.
No, it's mistake or no mistake. I mean, it's there.
You guys wanna, what are we gonna do? Not decide tonight, do it later, have another work session, I don't know, what else, that way that gives everybody that's here an opportunity to send me emails and comment.
Yeah.
That way I can bring
You're
it
gonna
up
get a
to the
lot.
next meeting, I just can't allow you guys.
I'm kind of semi-new to this. Does
Hmm.
anybody at the table have personal interest in this case?
No.
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 Okay, I was just
Good.
wondering.
Good.
No conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side
That's a
of
good
the,
question.
I live on the other
ditch,
side
yeah.
of 28.
Yeah.
Far away from there.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
question, though.
No, I live on the other side,
Yeah.
28. I'm not even close to you guys.
Yeah, we.
Sorry, Heck.
Can I just say one thing, like just to.
You can say it without permission.
I don't want to
I
do
think for
that.
the purpose.
I
of
just
the-
want, I think for the purpose of explaining the subdividing on the other side, I think they need to know. It was court ordered, and that's why it was subdivided on the other side. Because it was court ordered.
I'm not, yeah, you're talking about the ones at the very end there? Okay.
Now,
These two?
I also have that comment, because I was a personal representative for that estate.
Mhm.
It was court ordered, it had to go through probate. We knew it couldn't have been subdivided, but my dad died, not alive, he was dead. And so we went to 2 years of probate, and it was through probate that we got this. As a matter of fact, it was supposed to be divided between 4 of us. It was actually divided twice. One where Rebecca's property is, and the next one is
Okay.
Nora Barraza. The other
Yeah.
one was left, that's half an acre.
In the middle here?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
All right.
that was left. The actual subdivision was for those, I wound up getting the other. I did offer Mr. Bernard the opportunity to come in halves.
That's again,
We got it. Yeah.
do me a favor, I do got that in writing.
Yeah.
Right, because again, this is just a
I will
workshop.
be glad to talk to
Put
any
in writing.
commissioner that is willing to talk to me outside of this.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us explain that.
No más. Again, this is what is in front of us.
I
right?
don't
mean,
think we're ready to make a decision.
I don't think we are either.
Well,
Okay.
the
What-
procedure
what's-
of some
what's-
sort is to have the work session first,
Mhm.
correct? Okay, so this is just discovery.
Correct.
Right.
Now, what do you need from me, from Mr. Bernal, that's gonna speak with the other residents, property owners, or
I
what do I,
guess
what
what
do
I
I
would
gotta
like to have more of a legal description of this 30-foot wide road and what happened.
do? As far as maybe next time, maybe I can bring the attorney and the town engineer, with, on this,
Mhm.
work session and maybe
I mean,
feel a
it's,
little
I
bit more
think we're
comfortable.
having a hard time understanding how it went from
Easement to private property.
to being deeded
Yeah.
and.
It just shouldn't, have-
And I
it just
know
should
what you
not have happened.
But it did.
Yeah.
That's where
It
I'm
did.
stuck, Eddie. That's why I'm.
But
stuck.
as it sits now, all the documents points to, again, with the recommendation with both, that is a community road,
Mhm.
should have been deeded, but it also shouldn't be taking the rights from Mr. Bernal.
He has access.
So you, again, you don't have to, we're not voting or anything like that.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah, yeah.
if there's no other questions or comments, I don't know, that's gonna be enough for him to feel comfortable moving forward and submitting the preliminary plat, which is pretty extensive. But, the biggest thing is, can he do it? And, we'll maybe have another one next week, right? Maybe,
That
a
would be
week,
good.
'cause, I mean, it's already noticed, it's already been since March. It's already 10 months.
How long did the application stay open? A year?
Well, yeah, but he really hasn't submitted yet.
Oh, I see.
You know, this is
Okay.
a work session. He submitted it a year ago, but gathering all this information and trying to do the right thing, it's just taking us this long.
Okay.
But when he gets the preliminary plat submission and approved, then he has 22 months to comply.
I guess legal has already commented on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now,
So
again,
there's
outside
really
of
no reason to
our
bring,
authority, there could be other legal means that could come up, but we're not involved with that. Right? We're not involved with state statutes and property laws. And that all we know is
That's good.
it was approved. There's a community road. It was given to
Rebecca.
a parcel owner of their property,
Yeah.
and that's what we got. And we already read the deed that it states that all track owners around that road have access to this
Should
road.
have access. Yeah.
Should be able to use it.
How does the town of City reclaim private
I
easement?
have no idea. That's the next step.
It's above your pay scale, huh?
You're calling it.
Me too.
The reason why I'm calling it community road because it says right here on the special deed, community road. I'm not making up names for the community roads. Like I read it to you guys, right? You guys remember?
Yeah.
On page 17. All right. Well, if we do, again, I don't want to drag this on because I don't think we're giving Mr. Ronaldo's due process. I already feel, but at the same time, we got to do the right thing, right? So I'll try to expedite, try to get some information from you all. Maybe schedule this for next week again. I apologize. The applicant, so it wasn't good enough to make a
well,
solid
no,
decision, but
it's just,
if there's any more information on both sides, man, bring them in, and we're more than happy to look at it. Again, but we do not take statement out of emotional
Right.
decisions.
I
right?
know.
What happens. That was another day.
I know.
We can't get involved with that because we're
Yeah.
just trying to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
And anybody wants to talk to me after this, you better hurry up because I'm gonna.
I do.
Yeah, I'm going home.
I'm gonna tap me at the door or
Me
something.
too.
No, I'm just kidding. Are we good? Everybody good? You guys okay? Good?
Are we deciding a week from next week?
No, I'll talk to you, but yeah, I'll send you probably within the week because I have so many cases. I have a
You think
few
we're
other
ready
ones.
for a vote?
Well, I don't know
No,
how
you
much
guys
more
are waiting on
information
it.
we're gonna need.
Our next meeting is on
yeah, what else,
Personally,
what
I
other
don't think
information
it's-
we gonna get them?
right? We'll probably.
It's unfair to
I think
her
I
and
need
it's
to look-
unfair
I don't
to
know.
the landlord.
I need to
Attorney
think
and
about it
everybody
and
else.
look at the papers. Now that I can
You
actually
guys
read
good?
them better and just kind
Yeah,
of,
that's-
I need to process.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Hey,
Yes.
I have a question.
Adjourned?
Yeah, now.
Meeting adjourned? Everybody go. Okay,
meeting
now you
adjourned.
can talk.
So at the next work session that you have, are you going to allow
You just can't speak during work sessions.
now?
No.
Okay.
Submit everything you have to say. Tell me now, or send me in writing.
We're gonna
And
tell
do
you
all
right
this
now.
stuff.
We're gonna tell you.
Write all this stuff. Everybody, can I record it?
I'm gonna leave.
Yes, but you didn't
Yeah.
present all the documentation that was provided.
That's all I found.
But
Rebecca has copies of it, and she said she gave you copies of the legal description of that road.
No.
If it was, it wasn't intentional. Obviously,
Never
it's
speak,
just.
she's the owner of that road.
When you addressed the disclosure statement, you totally failed to show them where it says that no track
Does it say what?
can be, that you failed to even let them see that it also states that no track can be decreased in size.
Well, yeah, you reminded us, and we read that. You guys remember reading that?
But you didn't at the we had to they interrupted. I tried to.
Well, they have it in front of them, and they'll
Well,
be able
yes,
to take it home.
But
and read it.
what I'm saying is, that was one of the things, because you did bring up that they can use
Have access.
the road
You guys can-
for
you
3,
guys can
6,
stay
and
with
7, okay? Which is fine. I'm not against that fact that it states that on there. But you also stated that you do not enforce or go against the disclosure statement because it's, what was the word you used?
Covenant.
Yes.
Mhm.
But that statement is also in here.
Uh-huh.
So why does it apply to the access road, but not to the decrease in size of a triangle?
It applies,
Or is it good for one and not for the other?
because once a covenant, it was not a covenant. Whenever you.
When it's in
That is
a,
part
in
of
a
it.
Whenever you
disclosure
put
statement,
specific,
when it's in a disclosure statement.
Can you put this in writing for us so we
Yeah.
all have access to
Well, that was
understand
the
it?
other. I did send 2 letters. The
The
other
first
one stated that as well. That
the
was
second
not
one you
it.
said, it would be, I'm sending a second letter and for.
No, that was the
first-
correction.
But we
And then I
emailed you,
sent another one.
we emailed you a letter.
I only got 2, the very first one and then the one I got here.
I've got a
It
copy of
was, it was in.
Well, again,
But
send me all this information.
But yes, and like I say, that's fine with me. Yes, we did get our property subdivided because my parents are deceased, which is,
You
which
did
is
the right
not
thing,
here or
nothing
there, okay?
denying that.
And I don't have a problem. Of course, one
Yes.
buys property to give to their kids and stuff. I don't have a problem with it. But I do know that he has access from Calle del Sur, both sides. And if the town can make exemptions in cutting down, then why can Mr. Bernal not have that same ability to be able to use what he does have available? And if it's because of the Adobe home that he has there, I don't think there's gonna be that much, and it's none of my business, really. But because there's insistence upon them using my entrance, then yes, because to me, he does have the availability to be able to come in and out from his property.
You mean from either side of his
Property.
property?
Well, and
But
even
isn't
one,
that
like I
20
say,
or 30 foot?
in R1, our section, we still have to make
It's
a
too
road.
narrow though.
The
But
thing
he
is,
has on both sides.
the thing is,
But
is
you
when
can't
that subdivision was approved with that road to have access, give access to all those plats.
But it also states that no, and that's fine, but you're talking about more buildings. The damage that my road is going to make for the building of those vehicles.
You're not gonna have to maintain it.
But
That's
why,
what I'm trying to
why didn't the
You see,
city, why didn't the town take it when it
The
was
mayor,
offered to
no,
the
the
town?
mayor told me that it wasn't gonna, it couldn't be
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
The mayor told me that you can't just go in and do that.
Take
Do what?
possession of it.
Take over the maintenance and stuff.
I had a meeting with the mayor.
Let me shut this off.
Well, and the other
Yeah.
is that other road that
This
goes
isn't
on
a
property
really good
is
for us to
our
do this.
road.